Okay, so for this tier part of the tier list, I'm going to be doing engineering materials and some of the vendor materials. So the first material is going to be an Eternium thread, which is used by tailoring and leatherworking. So it's used for almost all of the, and it's going to come from the vendor. So it's going to be very common and easy to get. It's an endless supply from the vendor, but it is used for a lot of different patterns. And it's going to be a tier 4 material just because it's basically vendor, so it's no use keeping any in stock. The next one is going to be this neodynamic gear assembly, which is a white item from when you engineer some of the mobs in Northrend, and it is unfortunately completely worthless. There is no use currently for it. And then the other one is going to be an indestructible frame, which I didn't think anyone on the auction house had, and that's also worthless. So those are the tier 4 engineering ones. They're worthless and no use for stockpiling. We also have Frost Steel Tube, which is a tier 3, and that's for engineering. It is used for a few guns. So it's used for the Mark S broomstick, and then the scopes use it, which is not going to be all that useful as we have better ones. And then it's used for 2 trinkets, again not useful. They're basically worthless. I put them as a tier 3 material. You're basically not going to make them. If you get a few from engineering mobs, it's going to be easily enough. Or you might have to make 2 to make the gun. The next tier 3 material is going to be walnut stock, which is a vendor material that is used for a large number of guns. It's a situation where it is just not worth stockpiling. You're going to just buy it off the vendor if you need it. But it does actually have some use, so I put it as a tier 3. Hair trigger is again used for guns, so it's the same broomstick, and it's just a vendor material. You just buy it off engineering vendors, and it's in limitless supply, so you don't have to worry about it. I also have volatile blasting trigger. It's used for a bunch of bombs, which might make it useful if you're in that expansion, but unfortunately you're not going to be using the bombs in current content at all. It's just not worth using them to craft anything, so it's going to be basically worthless. So again, I've put it at tier 3. And then we have the cobalt bolts. This is used for a few things, so it's used for Jeeves. And then the other thing it's used for is a chopper. So it's a chopper and Greaves. It's going to be a case where that one is around tier 2, just because the ore is tier 2. And it's not going to be something you're ever going to stockpile, but if you have it, you can definitely use it for stuff, but it's not anything you're going to be worrying much about. We also have the overcharged capacitors, which is the final tier 3 item. It's used for a quest, and then it's used for some engineering trinkets, which is just going to make it not worth using. You might use it during the leveling procedure, but not other than that. And then we have the various bike parts, which I put at tier 2. So the chopper has the Gullin machine pistons. It has the Elementium plated exhaust pipe and the salvaged iron golem parts. These are going to be a tier 2 material, as the bike is much more useful than some of the other things, but they're in limitless supply, so they're not all that big a deal. please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, do leave them in the video. Thank you. Goodbye.